Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I'd like to do today is to show you all how to have pro forma financial projections for a bar and lounge in about 30 minutes or less. A lot of people, when they write the business plan, especially bar and lounge owners, they seem to do a real good job with getting their the writing portion of the business plan done. They're good with the company description. They know what kind of drinks they're going to be offering. They know if they're going to have a food menu or not. But what really kind of trips them up is having those pro forma financial projections that are customized and aligned with their objectives and their thoughts and ideas as to how they can perform for the next month, the next year, for even the next 5 years. So what I'm going to do today is kind of introduce you all to my financial model that's geared towards a bar and a lounge business. But I'm going to show you how to customize it to make it yours, and how you can have like I said, your financial projections ready for your bar and lounge in less than 30 minutes. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and just go through the purpose of the video, set your expectations as to my experience, why I believe I am qualified to show you all how to do this. And from that point in time, we're going to dive right into the financial model that I've prepared, and show you all how you can have your bar and lounge financial projections ready in about 30 minutes. All right, so off we go. First and foremost, like I said, the purpose of this video is to show you all how to have your pro forma financial projections, specifically your next 12-month profit and loss and your next 5 years income statement, how to go ahead and use a financial model that's geared towards the bar and lounge industry, how to use that, and have your customized plans ready within about 30 minutes. So what is this good for? A lot of people, based on my experience and feedback from other clients, they're going to use their financial projections in their business plan. So, just about every business plan that I've ever written, it has a writing component describing the bar and lounge and, the marketing ideas and the ownership discussion and such. But you're also going to have some financial projections to show the investor or even your employees, what you anticipate to make, how much your costs are anticipated to be, and what your anticipated profits are. Also, you can use this, the pro forma financial model for projecting sales. So if you got a management staff, what you can do is say, look, based on these projections right here, based on these assumptions, here's what our sales should be, and then use those for benchmarking as well as for sharing with your management team. So the template that I'm referring to, that I keep alluding to, for the bar and lounge, you can buy that on my website. I'll show you that after the video, where you can go ahead and purchase the template after I show you how to modify it. But there are some restrictions. It's not the end-all, be-all, heaven sent financial model that'll take care of every one of your problems, including the financial projections. So there are some limitations to my financial model that I've created. First and foremost, it is in Microsoft Office, specifically Microsoft Excel. A lot of calculations in there, and they're not going to transfer over to the Google Docs or the Apple products. So in order to make the changes to the financial model that I've created, you would have to have access to Microsoft Office, specifically Excel. Also, if you do buy my business plan template that includes the financial model that I'm going to show you how to customize, if you do buy it and you've got some questions before you purchase it, pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. Be delighted to have a conversation. After you buy the financial model and you're able to download it okay, then I would refer you to the tutorials, and I do have like 7 or 8 different tutorials on how to write a business plan, how to modify one of my financial models, in how to modify the financial models and also the business plan template, how to make those yours and customize them. So if you have questions about how to use the model and how to use the business plan template, I would refer you to the tutorials. All right, and the last thing I want to go ahead and go over before I dive into how to customize a bar and lounge business plan, not the template, but also the financial model, is that I am a professional financial modeler. Specifically, I like doing financial models. I mean, it's as simple as that. I design them, I modify them, I create them. If you do struggle still after you buy the template and after you go through the tutorial, if you're still struggling with your financial projections, your pro forma financial models and such, please pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. Be delighted to help you with your financial projections. Also, I do, if you want to be able to better understand what these numbers mean, just because you've got the template and just because you've put in your information and now you've got all these other numbers, it doesn't mean you know anything about what all these numbers mean. So if you want some clarification on various financial topics and what these numbers actually mean, jump on over to Amazon.com, put my name in the search bar, Paul Borosky, and I do have some some introductory financial books that I've published that'll help you better understand what these numbers mean. And then finally, my education. I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert for both business and finance. So I do have a little bit of education behind me and experience in teaching. All right, with that said, if you do choose to go ahead and you want to get your bar and your lounge, you want to get your bar and lounge financial projections ready to go, I do recommend starting with a template. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. It's almost like, you can either buy a car, you can build a car yourself, and you can make all the metal and you make all the parts. It's going to take you a little bit of time as compared to just going out there and getting a model and customizing it yourself. So all my financial models, especially for the bar and lounge, they have 4 tabs to them: the information tab, profit and loss year 1 tab, income statement tab, and then the projections tab. So the profit and loss year 1 is going to look similar to this: month 1 through 3, quarter 1, month 4 through 6, quarter 2, and so on. The income statement tab is going to be for the next 5 years. And then projections, that's a summary, the highlights of all of the financials in this model. To make any changes to the profit and loss statement, the income statement, and the projections, all the changes are done on the information page. And there are segments to this as well. You've got your daily sales, which would be this section here. You've got your labor, which would be this section here. Startup costs, this section here. And then we've got our fixed costs right here. And then if we scroll down, we've got our growth rates we can play with annually. And then finally, our loan information if we need a loan. So to kick off the bar and lounge, first thing what I do is I have already set up for y'all ticket per customer. So what that means is, what do you anticipate the average customer dropping every time they walk in the door? So for example, in this particular, the model that I've got set up, it's saying that we expect $16 a person. It might be a little bit low, especially if you're going to serve appetizers, tapas, or even a menu. So what we're going to do here for this example is we're going to say that every customer, when they walk in the door, they're probably going to drop about $22 per person. Also, this number right here is going to represent how many customers we anticipate having in the door. So for this example right here, we're saying about 85. We're going to bump that up a little bit higher. We think we can get 90 people in the door, especially since we're serving food. The next one right here is going to be the percent sales. This is our variable cost. And so I'm saying our variable cost is going to be about 25%. Since we're serving food, I think it's going to be a little bit higher, though, because of the cost for food is going to be a little bit higher as compared to if we're just selling beverages, alcoholic beverages and such. The next section of the daily sales is going to be how many days a week are we going to be open? Well, it's a bar and a lounge. We're going to be open 7 days a week, so we're going to leave that alone. And then also 4.3, that just represents how many weeks in a month, and I would leave that as is. The next is going to be the labor. The first line right here is going to be the salary. How much money do we want to pay ourselves every month? And I've put in here $2,000. That might be a little bit light. We need to make it worth our while. So we're going to change the salary to $5,000. So we're going to be paying ourselves $5,000 a month. Next is going to be employees. The template says 6 employees. So let's, 6 employees is a pretty good number. It might include some servers, and it also might include some bartenders as well. So, but the rate of pay is about $10, which might be a little bit high because the servers and the bartenders are going to be tipped individuals. So we're going to reduce that to $8. The next is going to be the startup cost. So the first 2 lines right here is going to be the equity investment, how much money you're going to invest, and then the loan, how much money we are going to borrow. So we're going to change this around. We're going to say our equity investment is $20,000, and then our loan amount is going to be $180,000. Now, these 2 items right here, our equity investment and the loan, they need to match up with a total of $200,000 right here. So if we remove working capital, That would bring our total startup cost down to 175. So since this 180 and 20 equal 200,000, we need to make sure our total here is 200,000. So let's go line by line and let's make sure this is aligned with our expectations of what our bar and lounge is going to look like. Build out and purchase. So we're going to say we're not going to be purchasing the location, but we're going to be building it out. And we're going to say our build out is going to be probably closer to 75,000. Maybe we can get the owner to kick in a little bit of money to help us out with the build out. Working capital is always the last one I'm going to put. I'm going to go ahead and budget budget money for all my other categories, and then whatever's left I'm going to throw into working capital. So we're going to skip working capital right now. Back to that house equipment, we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be doing food, so we're going to bump that up to about 35,000. Front of the house equipment, 25,000 is pretty good. Inventory, I think we can probably get away with a little bit lower on inventory of 10,000. Supplies, mops and such, let's go a little bit higher, 7,500. And then we've got advertising. We definitely need to do our advertising. So let's go ahead and let's bump that up to about 5,500. Office equipment, we're going to need a POS system. We're going to need some computers, so we'll probably bump that up to 5,000. Licenses, let's go 4,500. And then miscellaneous, it's just our catch-all. Any business that's ever been started that'll ever be started, they're always going to have a surprise on a monthly basis. It's almost like Christmas every month. So you got to budget for that surprise. And so we're going to make our budget for our bar and lounge $5,000. So what we have here is we've got $172,500 budgeted for our startup cost, but we are borrowing $200,000. So we need to figure out what the difference is between the 200,000. So we're going to go ahead and 180,000 plus the 20,000, and then we're going to subtract that 172.5. That tells us that our working capital needs to be about 27,500 in order to make these two lines identical to our total startup cost. So what we just did in these last few minutes is we've identified how much money that we are going to invest, how much money we're going to borrow, and then we broke up into categories where we're going to spend that $200,000. The next section is going to be our fixed cost. So we are going to, since it's a bar and lounge, we are going to have some kind of a location. So we're going to have to pay some rent, or we're going to have to buy something. For this scenario, we're going to pay rent. So we're saying our rent's going to be about $3,500. Utilities $750, that might be a little bit light, so we're going to go maybe $850. Office expenses $300, probably a little bit light again, $400 for us. Insurance $250, accounting and legal $125. Advertising might be a little bit heavy. Once we get a loyal customer following, we can probably pull back on that a little bit. Others going to be $750. Let's go with about $1,000 monthly for the other. All right, so this says right here that based on the information we provided, our monthly fixed cost would be about $7,625. The final step we're going to do is just make sure the growth rates look good, but then we're going to go ahead and make any changes we need to for the loan information. This is saying, the template's saying that we've got an interest rate of 5% with a term of 10 years. That's pretty good. I mean, maybe go a little bit higher, 5.5%. Term of 10 years is pretty decent for a business loan. So once we're done making those changes, we're going to zip on up here and we're going to identify what the revenues are. So year one revenues $845,000 with a net profit $229,000. That net profit might be a little bit high. So what we can do is we can dial back the number of customers we have that we need to get in the door. And let's say we want our net profit to be about 100,000. So let's dial that back to how many customers we need to get into the door. To 60 is about 83,000. 70 customers at 131,000, 65 customers at about 107,000. So what this tells us is once we figured out this financial model with our startup costs and our labor and everything like that, we can now move around our number of customers we need to get into the door that's going to achieve the net profits that we want. So based on all of the information we provided, we need to get 65 people in the door, spending about $22 a person, with a variable cost of $35. So if we can accomplish these three tasks and keep everything else in line, we should achieve our net profits for the first year of about $107,000. Now, what we can also do is go over to the income statement here. And on this income statement, this is going to show year 1 to year 5, and it's going to show our revenues for the next 5 years. It's also going to show our net income for the next 5 years as well. And then on the profit and loss tab for year one, it's going to show our monthly revenues. It's also going to show our monthly income. So now that we've identified how much money we want to have for the first year for a net profit of $107,000, we can now monitor our bar and lounge on a monthly basis to make sure we're hitting the revenues and hitting the profits on a monthly basis to ensure we achieve our objectives. In the final tab right here is we've got our nice little financial highlights. This chart will update as you update your profit and loss and your net income. This chart right here will update for you. And this is just a nice little summary of the highlights of our financial model, the annual revenues, the cost and net profits, the profit margin, sales growth, advertising costs, startup costs, and such. So this financial model right here, once you update this information, it's got a lot of great tools. That's going to it's going to provide you with your pro forma profit and loss for the next 12 months. It's going to provide you with your income statement for the next 5 years, pro forma. And yeah, within we took us about 16 minutes to update this model, and we now have our financial projections ready to go for our bar and lounge business plan. If you like what you see, you're going to love what you get from me. All you got to do is zip on over to my qualitybusinessplan.com/bar and lounge business plan template. Hit me up right here. And what you can do is you can go ahead and purchase the bar and lounge template here. Also on this tab, I do give you, it's a bonus for some free business plan template tutorials, and the tutorials will help you write the business plan as well, the company summary section. It'll give you some tips and tricks for the marketing section, how to update that from the business plan template, and so on. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. And as always, have a fantastic day. Thank you.